Good morning, church family. Today we're going to be getting into prayer number 3, and that is the prayer of Moses. It was the prayer, "Go with us." And the text today is going to be Exodus 33. And so this prayer that Moses prays comes out of a very low point, because after he's come down from Mount Sinai, meeting with God, getting the law, getting all the commandments and statutes that God was requiring of his chosen people to live differently, so that the world could see that Israel was his chosen people. And so after he comes down, as he's coming down from Mount Sinai, he sees the Israelites engaged in idolatrous activity, worshiping a golden calf and partying and reveling in idolatry and all the things that go along with it. And of course, he's very mad. And it's so bad that God would have annihilated them. But I want you to know something. Moses stepped in and interceded on their behalf. And that is found in Exodus 32, 9 through 14. But how was Moses supposed to lead these people? People who complained, who wouldn't listen, who would occasionally, when things wouldn't go a certain way, they would occasionally say things like, "Oh, let us go back to Egypt." How was he supposed to meet this challenge? Well, he did it with prayer. He prayed. And in Exodus 33, verses 7 through 11, it says, "Now Moses used to take a tent and pitch it outside the camp, some distance away, calling it tent of meeting. As Moses went into the tent, the pillar of cloud would come down and stay at the entrance while the Lord spoke with Moses. Whenever the people saw the pillar of cloud standing at the entrance to the tent, they all stood and worshiped, each at the entrance to his tent. The Lord would speak to Moses face to face as a man speaks with his friend." Wow. Amazing, right? That's the relationship that Moses had with our Creator God, the relationship he had with the Lord. Moses would pitch that tent outside the camp, away from the hustle and bustle and distraction, and go with God and pray. Moses was a man of effective prayer. Moses had very personal meetings with God. It wasn't a quick like, "Hey, how you doing? Catching up here at the grocery store or catching out at the coffee shop, meeting up there." No, he went and sought God and had very personal meetings with the Creator of the universe. And yet you go to the next verse, in verse 12, you hear a complaint voiced. And Moses says to the Lord, Moses said to the Lord, "You have been telling me lead these people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me." And in moving on down, it says, "If you are pleased with me, teach me your ways so I may know and continue to find favor with you. Remember that this nation is your people." The Lord replied, "My presence will go with you. I will give you rest." And Moses said to him, if your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here." So you see what Moses is doing? He's telling the Lord, if you are not with us, we are not leaving here. He's asking God, go with us. He's acknowledging that we need God's presence. We need that interpersonal communication with the Lord. Again, Jesus went away to pray often to the desolate places. And Jesus is the last Adam, the perfect human being who we are supposed to imitate. And if the perfect man, the Creator of the universe, is going away to pray with the Father, then that shows us prayer, prayer, prayer. Moses prayed, "Lord, go with us." But if the Lord was not with them, don't send us up from here. In other words, Moses was saying, your presence is key to our peace and protection and prosperity. Your presence is the source of our survival and success. So Moses prayed, "Go with us." He's saying, "Lord, your presence is the mark of your pleasure. Your attendance sets us apart. You are distinctly divine. Without you, we are nothing but a tragic troop trampling aimlessly into oblivion." So Moses asked God to go with them, and God said yes. Verse 17, and the Lord said to Moses, "I will do the very thing you have asked, because I am pleased with you, and you know my name, and I know you by name." See that relationship that Moses had with God? Personal. It's down to names. Just like you're best friends with somebody, you know them by name. And from that moment, God's presence marked Moses' life. In fact, God's presence was so manifested in Moses' life that Moses' face actually glowed. And if you go down to the next chapter, chapter 34, verse 29, Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of the testimony in his hand. He was not aware that his face was radiant because he had spoken with God. So this is after the golden calf incident. But he was with God, and his presence is marked with a glow. And so that's the question we have to ask ourselves. Are we in God's presence so much that we give a glow? People know that person has been with the Lord. That person spends time with the Lord. Or are we just trying to get by? Are we just trying to get through life? As Christians, we're not supposed to just make it. We were put here to be salt and to light and to combat the darkness in this world. We were not meant to get by. We were meant to be a preservative in this world. We were meant to share the gospel message, spread the gospel of Jesus Christ into all the world, and bring salvation to all. So our prayers are, we got to make it personal with God. Make our prayers personal. Set aside a time where you go to God alone and you spend some time with him and pray with God. Pray, pray, pray. And let him talk to you. Yeah, it's okay to share your frustrations or whatever's going on. That's what we're supposed to do. Make your prayers personal with God. Don't just go through it like you're reading a grocery list from the store. Make your prayers personal with God. Because, God is our personal creator. God is our creator. And he made this world. He's given us his personal name, Yahweh. And we should know him by his name, his covenant name. So know God personally. Make it personal. Make your prayers personal. Make it a time where you and God just talk and sit there and fellowship together and spend time with him. Human beings, we're made in the image of God. We're marked by knowledge of God. And so since we're made in his image, God wants us to have a relationship with him. So we need to have that time with the Lord. So make your prayers personal. So tomorrow we will get to prayer number 4, and that will be found in Judges chapter 6. And it is the prayer of Gideon, where he's asking God, give me a sign. So we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. And don't forget, tonight, Bible study, adult Bible study, 6:30 p.m. And we have our children and student ministry programs tonight. We'll see you this evening.